infantry, our artillery, our air defense, and aviation elements couldn't speak to each other because they all used different radios and different protocols. And Gordon Sullivan wanted to eliminate that so it could become an integrated fighting force. We led the initiative for him to get the right protocols in place to establish the communications across the whole force. And the biggest thrill was the end of my career was at the National Training Center when the fighting force against the opposing force came together in the valley after 3 days of battling, when the initiatives associated with digitization and lower level communication and synchronization took place, and the force to be trained showed the importance of the new digitization efforts, and they have progressed over the last 20 years into what exists now. But it was a significant enhancement to the force. At the end of that session, thousands of troops on the ground, Chief of Staff of the Army came up to me and said, "Bob, we did it. This is a fantastic effort to start digitization for the Army." Yeah, well, I was fortunate enough to handle, be responsible, or develop many of the programs that existed at Fort Monmouth. So my first job was to protect Army aviation elements that were flying up at Vietnam, and I actually ended up canceling my first program, which was a traumatic experience for me because it wasn't ready to be done, and I recommended using an Air Force warning receiver to warn of missile alert. And our surveillance aircraft were then able to recognize a missile launch and maneuver away. So, and we worked heat-seeking missile protection for protection of helicopters, radar systems for detection of moving targets, signals intelligence, electronic warfare, and all that stuff that went with it was an integral part of my career over the 30 years. One that stands out is a helicopter pilot coming to you and saying, "Thanks for putting that jamming system on board my platform. The heat-seeking missile missed." Got a letter from Captain O'Grady, the one that got shot down in Bosnia, thanking us for the rescue radio that was used to help him get picked up and safely brought back home. So there was a lot of those little vignettes that occurred based on the feedback from the equipment that you had. By utilizing the talent as more of an integrated entity rather than an organizational structure that you had to work with, you could get the tremendous amount done. I used to call it cookies and milk. We would sit down and bring the whole team in, the logisticians, product assurance, technical team, procurement, et cetera, bring them all together. Sit down and figure out what the problem was, how we wanted to solve it, and how to make it work. And that worked wonders for us. We got a tremendous amount accomplished by tapping the whole workforce. And they generally responded every step of the way. Well, when I took over, we had 5 directorates: night vision, communications, command and control, intelligence, electronic warfare, and product assurance. And they were disparate directorates. They were working their own particular problem. My initiative to integrate them and show the synergy of products that cross the individual directorates was a major initiative while I was the director of research and development. And by tying that together, we picked up a tremendous amount of additional leverage and support for the programs that then came out of Cecom. The major one that comes to mind for me was that the Army spent a tremendous amount of time putting together something called the Army Tactical Command and Control System, which supposedly was the horizontal integration of maneuver, artillery, air defense, intelligence, and logistics. And what happened was those elements could not talk to each other. They had their own schools and their own budgets. So it was like trying to corral 5 trains, leaving a train station in all different directions and pulling them together into an integrated force. I think the Army tried to do that at too high a level rather than at a lower tactical level to get more synergy for it, which is exactly what ended up happening when they went to the digital battlefield. So we spent an awful lot of time managing who gets what computer, how much memory is in the computer, how much does it cost, and so forth and so on. And that wasted an awful lot of time and energy, and that's now been fixed so that the lower echelon systems begin to feed the higher echelon systems without the higher echelon systems becoming a burden to them. Grew from a GS9 to the director of the electronics and research and development. It was a fantastic growth, fantastic ride, and a lot of great things accomplished, and worked with a lot of great people. So it was what I call a great career, and one that I enjoyed quite a bit.